Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to a very paranormal evening. It's not as paranormal as it was going to... Well, no, it's as paranormal as it's going to get, actually, because we have none other than my good old friend, L. Dave, BlackStar Paranormal. How you doing, Dave?
Good, man. How are you doing?
You're going to be on anyway. You were going to be on for the second half of Ghost Tech Paranormal, but you were going to be there asking the questions with me, supporting me like the solid rock that you are with your extremely huge hands. But this show, people, is not going down tonight. Sadly, Jeff has a family crisis that he needs to sort out. He rang me this afternoon. So if anybody's here from Ghost Tech Paranormal aren't here, but we've got BlackStar Paranormal in the house. Dave, before we get started talking about the misty subject, we are going to have Lee join us at some point as well. How's things going down with BlackStar Paranormal? Is it still just prepping?
Oh, yeah. I mean, some of my friends that have interesting jobs, engineering cool things, they're still working on some of our tech. We've bought tech from other places and reverse engineered it because that's how we roll. And some of the stuff people are buying, it's a joke because, you know, the people I have, they're NASA engineers. They're incredibly brilliant people. And they're immediately looking at like the circuit boards and figuring out production and where they're coming from and who's making them and the components. And they're like, oh, this is ridiculous. Who's buying this?
Some of which me and Lee have had on the show and spoke to in person. For anybody who may be saying BS there, me and Lee was quite gobsmacked when we got the NASA guys on the show, friends of Dave, courtesy of Dave. So these guys are going to be working on some of the equipment.
They already are. So we reverse engineered a few particular items and found out they're just, converted from whatever. I mean, they serve a certain purpose, but none of it's original built. No one's building their own boards. No one's printing them out. No one's putting anything together. So they're the smart ones. They're coming up with some ideas of what they think they could do. And that's working off theories of what we think the phenomenon is. Not so much what the phenomenon is, but how could we measure that? Like, how can we put that in terms? What can we proof for? And so they're working on that. One of the items we believe will be patentable. They're talking to an optical physicist right now to see if that is a thing. And if that is a thing, then that slows that down because we have to get that ball rolling first. And that takes money. It takes time. It's a legal process. Yeah. And we were going to launch. We should have already been launched, but one of my friends who will be a part of it, who is a part of the show, who will be a part of the show and the research and whatnot. He's getting a new job, and to do that, he has to get a Q clearance, which is a top secret security clearance, re-upped, and he has to go through that process. And it's one thing to already be working there and doing your job and then come out as kind of crazy. It's another thing to go in as crazy. So we're just holding off because we're just doing this for fun.
I understand that. I didn't get a job on the back of somebody knowing what I did on YouTube.
Yeah, man. And that's just a job. That's not like, I don't want to talk about what he does, but when you're subject to national secrets, they frown on the paranormal, to say the least.
So your channel is in the description below. There is nothing there.
There's nothing there. We do have, and that's the bitch. The thing is, we have video. We've done hunts. We've done investigations, if you want to call it that. We've, tested out different theories, different equipment, things like that. We have that footage. It's just because me and the other guy are in it, it can't be out yet.
But that is the channel that is launching, the one that I've put in the description.
Yeah. It'll all go to there.
When can we expect a...
Let's see. So he still has to...
I've seen some of this stuff. Well,
yeah.
I spoke to what's his name? The second NASA guy.
Max.
I spoke to Max. It's Max that's doing some of the stuff for you.
Oh yeah. Max is key. Max is a part of
Yeah.
he's a part of BlackStar Paranormal. Max is my brother from another mother. Absolutely. Anything technical that I would do, I go to him first because he's a genius.
Is it
Yeah.
the equipment needs finishing first before we get?
That's part of it. Part of it is it's theoretical. Like they're just obviously these are just ideas, right? They take a little bit more talking out, and he has access to people I don't have access to, that he can, on the down low ask these people the kind of questions we need to curtail development. So that's kind of where that's at. And then, we're not in a rush because we want our other buddy to be on. No, I mean, honestly, this isn't our big money making scheme or anything. This is just kind of for fun. And so we're not in any kind of rush. We have amazing access to paranormal locations, to areas of high strangeness that other people don't. We have full run of places that other people couldn't get if they tried. We're super, super blessed in that regard. And one of my friends who was on your show in Utah, Dave Miller, he just bought a place out there.
One of the best UFO sightings I've ever seen.
His? Yeah,
Yes.
His is good.
Speaking of UFO sightings,
yeah.
Security Team 10 is here to support the channel. How you doing, my friend?
Man. What's going on?
It's a bit of Tyler there. Nice. We need to get you back on, Tyler. I want to speak to you about the moon.
He should jump on now.
He's very welcome.
Yeah,
more than welcome.
We're just piddling around anyway. But yeah, so Dave has a place out there, and I've messaged him. I would love to take a trip out there and hang out with him. And once we have some of our tech up and going, my plan is to take it out there because he bought property in the Unitah Basin next to Skinwalker Ranch. And he's boots on the ground, dude. He knows the area. Like,
he's been messaging me. He showed me his property.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Yes.
Dave's a good dude, man. He's a really good dude. He's got a great name too. I like that.
Yeah, very solid.
Solid name, manly name.
Yeah.
No, yeah. So and then I got some other people that are kind of on the back burner. Or not on the that's not a good way to put it. I just keep them in my pocket for the moment. Yeah. But it's other than that, it's just life, man. It's wife, kids, business, things like that.
What? So tonight Ghost Tech Paranormal was gonna come on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been a fan of theirs for quite some time. I did not to put you kind of in competition, but I asked you what would make you stand out from other ghost channels, and you said the tech that you're using will be completely different to anybody's.
Yeah, everyone's running off the. I mean, well, that's part of it. Like part of it I can't talk about, and the tech I can't go into too much detail about. But
that's to specify. I asked you this the other day,
yeah,
and you said I can't talk about it because I don't want anybody stealing it.
Yeah, I mean, there's one particular item that we're going to get a patent on. I think that we will, and we'll get a utility patent at that, which is, I mean, obviously that's the one you would go for, but that takes time, that takes money. You got to get to the patent pending phase. Not only that, so we have the design up and running. We have certain aspects of the physical device going. There's some hard physics and science that, I mean, I understand all this is fucking beyond me. But we're getting clarification on, and that clarification matters. And yeah, it's moving in that direction. And like I said, without my co-host guy you'll see on with me all the time, I don't know, not in a rush. I want to do it with him. And not only that, I mean, we're still pursuing certain consciousness projects. We're still pursuing certain esoteric aspects of it, and the links there in between, manifestation, conscious, the phenomenon itself. Yeah. Using human test subjects.
How long ago now have I known you?
I don't know, 6-7 months, something like that.
Yeah, unofficially about 6 or 7 months. So I've asked you many a times about what got you into this, and you were not interested in UFOs at all to start off with.
Never. No, I'm not. I'm still not really. I don't care. I think it's very toxic.
I mean,
yeah.
You went, you met Travis Walton, you put me on to Ray Hernandez, and those were the people that told you. It was Ray that said, "Have you ever stopped just to look up at into the starry night?"
Yeah, so he and we were having a conversation, and I like Ray. I like his approach to things. I like his passion. I don't think I would agree with him on a many variety of normal life things, but I do when it comes to the high.
Clever guy.
He's an intelligent man, and I appreciate conversations with intelligent people, especially the ones who will take their time to talk to me. But yeah, so he was the one who suggested,
Oh, there you go. I do have the picture.
Yeah. I am the ogre, blurred out. And then the other chick that blurred out, she works for an unnamed 3-letter government agency, but that's not her real name either.
So that's Ray on the. Is it my
far right? If I'm looking at the screen,
yeah, my right. Yeah.
And
I
forget
Travis,
the guy in the middle's name.
Travis looks like he's like touching your bum.
Well, I mean, who wouldn't? It's yeah. But Travis is kind of a dick. But
there you go, Dave, getting some support. I'm gonna have to send you half of that. Thank you very much, Tyler.
No, I don't need it. Thank you, man. That's freaking cool, man. You should jump on.
I've sent him a link. He's more than welcome. He's probably just chilling with his missus and watching the show, which I understand. Sometimes you just want to sit back.
Yeah. No, yeah. So I didn't feel him about part of me that I don't really talk about. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to taint conversations. And he had suggested, people who experience high strangeness tend to have UFO sightings. And I was like, well, I've never seen one. I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, have you ever looked at the skies? And I was like, no, absolutely. Why would I do that? And so me and some of my friends on Friday night one night, and I was like, well, we're going to give this a whirl. Let's sit out here and stargaze and watch. And we ended up seeing some stuff. One of the guys is an Annapolis graduate, Navy pilot. The other guy's white collar. I don't want to get into what he does because it would, but they're all credible except for me, I guess. And
but it works.
We saw interesting things.
Because we've taken the Michael a little bit out of Stephen Greer for summoning UFOs.
We weren't trying. I wasn't trying to summon anything. That's not. Don't misunderstand. That was not at all. I fucking love that.
That's for Tyler.
That one.
Thank you.
Greer himself should adopt that. I mean, I don't think he has much of like a sense of humor of himself, but that's fucking awesome.
That on a t-shirt.
That on a t-shirt or a hat. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Or
I think I might just get that on a t-shirt just for me because I don't what's happened with my camera.
Yeah, a morale patch. That'd be awesome.
Oh well.
Wow.
By the way, can you hear my child destroying his bedroom?
Can't hear a thing.
That's okay. He's just decided to get up.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Tyler. Appreciate that.
Yeah, that's super cool, man.
So what I was saying there is because Greer, he goes out and he can, some of them, I know you never said that you got told to do that, but you guys have done that.
Yeah.
And you've seen them.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen things that a group of 12 men focusing on the same thing. There's other factors obviously involved. Doesn't keep out, but yeah. And a couple of the guys who were hard skeptics saw something a lot of us saw that was totally unexplainable. We've seen several of those things. Those events aren't in a car playing for. Cool.
I do that. I sit in the car.
Yeah,
sit in the car, waiting for the missus to do the shopping. Just watch a bit of YouTube.
Yeah. It's so yeah. Or was that? Yeah. So yeah. It works. I think if you have the right people. more and more like we've gone, and I wasn't joking about the human experimentation. We do have a project running, a consciousness project that is very akin to human experimentation. Granted, everyone's willing, kind of. So yeah.
So we've spoke, especially with when I had Dave on, Dave Miller. We spoke about the ranch. Well, we spoke about the whole Unitar Baser,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of people that are they're taking the piss, the Michael, out of Travis, not Travis Walton, Travis
Taylor.
Taylor.
Yeah.
And I will say, when I watched that show, it seems very, what's the word I'm looking, over the top.
Yeah, it's a TV show.
But you said, but you're a big fan of Travis Taylor.
Yeah, he's a brilliant man. Like, that's the thing is, if we're relying on TV or how something is presented by a mass media outlet or anything for credibility, and you believe in the credibility that does or doesn't portray, you're out of your fucking mind. Like, you should talk to someone, because that's fairy tale land, right? It's purely entertainment. If you're feeling a way, they want you to feel that way. If they want you, if so many people look at this guy and it's like, wham, why does he sound like a country bumpkin hicken? Well, because that's his speech pattern, that's his accent. Why don't you look at the man's credentials? He was on TED Talks in 2012 talking about consciousness and the quantum connection. He's a brilliant man. He's worked for DARPA, DOD, DOE, like, he's worked for them all. He has multiple, so top secret security clearances can, like, when you're compartmentalized, you sign certain paperwork to that compartmentalization that you don't talk about that with the other compartmentals that you're working on, which is always, doesn't make any fucking sense, because of course you're gonna, anyway, mix what you're doing, but he's had that through multiple things. He's a world leading optical physicist, which is not always what it sounds like. And now he's gone to, what is the name of that? Ray Technology or whatever. Yeah, you look at the company he works for now, but I believe also hired Lou Elizondo. I need to pull that up, otherwise it'll drive me crazy. But yeah, I like him. I think he's an intelligent man. I think he brings interesting things. I think if you're watching the show to get excellent nuggets or groundbreaking anything, then you're doing the wrong thing. It's for entertainment. It's to, I think, kind of get the public used to knowing strange things exist. I feel like a lot of what's been going on for a long time right now is getting the public used to that idea. Now, people on the like who watch your channel and watch other channels will be like, "Oh no, everyone knows." They don't. I know a bunch of people that know nothing about this. This isn't a subject they talk about. In fact, when the UFOs like came out from the Navy videos, to them that was a big deal. It was like an emotional, religious thing that they had to deal with. I know several people who had that, and they still don't know how to process it. That's the majority of people. The people here who watch and who stay in and who follow, they're outliers. But because outliers tend to congregate together, they feel like they're the norm. They're not. They're not the top of the curve. You know what I mean? They're an outlier. I think a lot of what's been going on has been targeted at the masses to get them comfortable with the idea that, something else is going on, and it may be, and you always hear these catchphrases if you pay attention, right? If you pay attention to the social programming that you can tell they're doing, and they're repeating these catchphrases. It's stranger than you think. It's stranger than you think. Northrop Grumman several years ago did a whole thing on invisible aliens that are here, invisible life. You can go to their thing, and I think it's Northrop Grumman. You can Google Northrop Grumman invisible aliens, something like that. You'll get the article. It was well written. It's intelligent. It talks about a biosphere that could potentially be here that we aren't able to perceive because of our limited ability with the magnetic spectrum and how much we can look at and process. It touches briefly on the hitchhiker phenomenon, which I believe is a type of quantum entanglement to your consciousness or your soul, whatever you want to view that as, that these things are able to follow, only for temporary, which raises more questions than it does.
I believe 100%.
Yeah. So if that's the case, then you're talking about the high strangeness is a quantum phenomenon within itself. And that's way above my pay grade. I don't fucking get any of that. But it's interesting, right? like whatever it is. And it may not be one thing. Like everyone's, it's just one thing. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's a host of things. Maybe there is some reality that sits on our reality that's just outside of the scope of our perception, and we're outside of the scope of its perception, and we only occasionally cross paths. That would make a lot of this, right? Maybe it's from a whole civilization that's 5 minutes ahead of us. Maybe it's another reality that in weird ways bumps into our reality and creates thin areas, where like the veil of reality is thin and pass through, and they figured it out, but we haven't yet. But we're clearly working on it because multiple U.S. government labs have talked about trying to open doorways into alternate dimensions. So it's something that they're putting real money into. So I don't know.
Do you think? I think I know the answer to this, but for the audience, when it comes to UFOs and the paranormal, that them two are completely and truly linked together, or do you think they are separate?
I think dolphins, whales, octopus, squids, and fish all live in the ocean, but they're not all the same. Just because something's in the same habitat or coexist somehow in the same space or nearby doesn't mean they're in any way related. Just because you live in the neighborhood you do doesn't mean you're related to your neighbors. Doesn't mean you're all family or kin, or you just habitate the same area. Doesn't mean you all work the same job. Doesn't mean you live the same life. Doesn't mean you have anything in common. Your dog lives in a house with a human, right?
But humans have something massively in common with the two. Certain humans see lights in the sky and have extreme paranormal.
Yeah, some do. My theory on that is some people are magnifiers. Maybe it's a biochemical wiring. Maybe it's freak genetic mutation. Maybe it's built up mutation. Maybe it's an inherited gene that clicks on. Maybe it's part of the brain that's activated or not. Maybe it's related to brain trauma. Maybe they've had enough TBIs that some kind of film's been, who knows? I think, and this is just my thing. I mean, what do I know? I'm clearly just probably talking up my ass. But if you go to enough events, like haunting events, paranormal events, even like skywatching events, you can have people go to a haunting event and have very mild activity. Very mild activity. I mean, something will happen. Ooh, it's enough. People get chills, whatever. That's great. And then for whatever reason, you bring X person who's totally benign, seems 100% normal. They're just a random person, but they're there that night. And suddenly the place comes alive. It's like, it's whether it's a battery or a magnifier or that person's magnifying the energy of the other, really, that's all other stuff to think about. But when you plug this part of the machine in, suddenly everything's working. It's like there was a loose connection and this person helps bridge that connection. And suddenly things happen. I've seen it on different hunts in old hospitals and jails and things. Like the right person comes. You're never going to really know who that person is. But when they're there, everything's alive. Everything's popping off on all floors. It's going wild. And you can always tell it's that person because they're just getting more and more tired as they go. And people say, well, that could be anyone. It's if you go to enough of them, you realize it's not everyone. It's kind of like the Utah Basin, right? It doesn't respond to everyone. It's some people it doesn't care about, and some people it really likes. And that's why.
There was one thing with that documentary and show, that because I will say I watched it and I thought, oh, this is just full of shit. But the thing that happened to, I forgot the guy's name. The guy that got the swelling on the back of the head.
Yeah, I don't remember his name either.
But that
I know who you're talking about.
That was weird.
That was more akin to direct microwave, like a direct action by like microwave technology, or similar as like gamma radiation, like a focused beam of gamma radiation. The symptoms he went through there. He's probably going to spend the rest of his life looking for cancer. In fact, if you listen to the Travis Taylor, he did an interview with George Knapp, for George Knapp's news outlet in Vegas. And I think it's like 4 parts. Definitely worth looking up. For whatever reason, they're not listed in order. It was very strange to find. But when you go through it and listen to them all, it's very interesting because clearly, like you saw on the show, like Travis got burned on his hand. And he's like, oh, that's clearly radiation. We need to get out of here. What they don't tell you is that he got really sick. And he dealt with his sickness now since that happened. Like he's been having to go to doctors. He's been on medication. It sounds like he had some kind of radiation poisoning and maybe a tumor came up or something he's not wanting to talk about. That interview is definitely, those 4 interviews, it's a 4-part series on one interview. Absolutely is worth watching. Listening to him talk about the hitchhiker phenomenon that followed him home. It's on YouTube. I think a couple different people have copied and pirated it. It's Travis Taylor and George Knapp interview. I think that's all you would have to search. You'll find it. It's 4 parts. It's very interesting. He talks about the phenomenon following him home, and he talks about that he doesn't want to talk about it because he finds when he gives it attention, activity flares up. And the guy who got beamed in the head, there's interviews out there with him talking about that following him home and like his security cameras going on and off, things going on and off, car alarm going off, windows going up and down, car starting by itself, turning off by itself. That's bizarre.
I would love to go and spend a month in that basin. And thank you, Lisa Bowden, for the pussycat pulling the face. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So
we spoke about some of your experiences, and we spoke about them offline rather than actually on air. And you've had some weird stuff that's happened in your life this has gone on for you since, am I right by saying since you were a boy?
Well, public schools, strange time for all of us figuring out who we are.
But am I right there? From a very early age, you've been kind of tuned to. Did you call it the light bulb? Not light bulb. What did you call it? Because I called it the Shining. Where
I don't know.
It's something where certain people are more in tune to the subject.
Oh, like a flashlight.
That's the one.
Yeah, that's from movie Stir of Echoes. I always thought it was a good analogy.
Yeah,
some
great
people
analogy.
Seem to be that way.
So we were talking about that. Thank you, Lisa. And the fact that certain people have this thing, and it could be genetics. How would that? See, I can kind of get that when it comes to maybe an alien being attracted to a certain human because of the new genetic makeup. Maybe they need humans for the DNA.
That's never made sense to me, because how would they know?
Well, their science is probably thousands of years ahead of our science. So maybe that's how maybe they can just scan you with a little cloud ray gun or whatever and find out.
I think that's a lot of genetic sampling. Like, what if they got invisible things here, getting your old dirty dishes and glasses, pulling your DNA samples?
For me, that doesn't explain the paranormal and seeing ghosts. Let's just say ghosts, okay? So people who see ghosts also see a lot of UFOs. Now that may be a lot of people that are full of shit, and it probably is.
Probably is. Yeah, probably is.
I would say probably at least 70% of those people.
People that I've talked to that I would say are credible, that have had experiences, they don't want to. They would never come on something like this. They don't want anyone to know. They don't want to talk about it. People who have seen lights in the sky. People who have had bizarre experiences with things in the woods or in their home or haunted homes. I live in a historic home in a historic neighborhood. I'm a blessed dude like that. And a lot of my neighbors have all these stories. And when they try and get neighborhood, because they do a neighborhood ghost tour, right, where they tell stories to the neighborhood, nobody wants to be on it. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to be looked at crazy. These are things that are talked about at like house parties and neighborhood parties for the holidays and stuff on the down low. Or when things really get out of hand, there's certain people who call other certain people in the neighborhood to like help out. it's just kept low. It's not anything, and it probably seems strange to, like, again, most of your viewership or people who are into the subject or follow the subject. They're like, well, you should, these aren't these aren't the outliers. These are the bulk of people that just want to live their life. And occasionally all the doors in their house open at 3:30 in the morning, and they don't know why. They just explain it away. They don't want to talk about it. They want to ignore it. A lot of my neighbors have security cameras, and the things the security catch are amazing, but none of them will share it because they're not going to be looked at as crazy. They're not going to deal with that at their 9 to 5. At their, they're an investment banker, and they're not going to catch shit from the people they work with because they have a 3/4 of an apparition appear in their yard every Tuesday at 2:15 in the morning. Like that. They're not doing that. Nobody's doing that. They're not going to nuke their life over that because why? Why? Why are you going to have your kids take extra shit at school? Why are you going to have your neighbors who may be going through and totally know what you're saying, but publicly they're going to shun you?
We spoke about this on Lee's show, Must See Audio, and I think I played a clip of you talking. I did play a clip of you talking about Lou Elizondo.
Yeah, you just leave that guy alone.
I do leave him alone. I don't do anything. I don't do anything.
Lou's out there doing his thing for whoever the hell it is he works for, and that's fine. And again, I think everything that he does is orchestrated towards, like, vaccinate or not vaccinate. That's the wrong word. Not inoculate. Preparing people, maybe, to get it. I mean, he's the right guy. He's got good credentials. He shows up on the scene. The thing they didn't account is that his thin's a little bit thinner than they thought it would, and people with very small channels poke it at him clearly pisses him off, which, from my point of view, seems strange. But that's people are people are people. At the end of the day, people are people, and everybody's got their quirks, and that's clearly something that he's working on. But yeah, he's playing his part.
You said that he gives you a fraction of the truth within a lie.
Yeah, that's how it's done. Yeah, it's classic manipulation.
So because we're on the paranormal subject, I want to ask this question. He spoke about demons. He said the demons.
Who?
When he was told, Lou did, he mentioned about a general and said, you need to leave that alone, the demons.
Yeah.
Would you say that was purposely constructed within that sentence?
I think it's more interesting if you look at, so to keep that in mind, and then if you look at, like, Jeremy Corbell did the Hunt for the Skinwalker, right?
Yep.
At the end of it, he's doing an interview with George Knapp, and he's talking about him, and he says, George, would you describe? And they bleep it out.
And Robbie Williams, George Knapp, Robbie Williams, and Corbell all around.
But at the end of it, it's just George Knapp and it's just Jeremy Corbell, and they're like, it's some artistic overlook or I don't know, whatever. Actually, I like his work. I think he is a good filmmaker.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. But so they're having a conversation. He says, "Well, do you want to talk about people?" And it's bleeped out. And George says, "No, I'm not going to use that word. We're not going to talk about that." And Jeremy kind of picks it. He's like, "No," and George immediately stops. Says, "No, we're not doing that." And they end it. What did he want to say? What did he want to call it?
But don't you sometimes think that those things are meant to be in the video to give that video a little bit of ooh with that?
But it's only for the ones at the end who are watching. The nuggets of truth like that. They're there for the people who are paying attention. So many people get emotionally charged at something, or they get caught up at something, or they're enraptured by something. What's that, Corbell?
Yeah. I've got a clip that I've been editing from Tyler when he was talking about Corbell on the interview. Is when you see it, you'll understand his feelings on Corbell.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, I get it.
He interviewed Jeremy, and but when Tyler went through his shit, Jeremy never picked up the phone to say, because they were friends. How you doing, mate? Hope you. Which
he's
is a bit.
He's a wannabe Hollywood guy. Of course, he's not going to call. You can't do anything for him. He's not going to be there for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, that D word they like to throw, or not like to throw around, but obviously it's been talked about enough in government circles. I think even Greer's talked about it before. That there are people somewhere up in the government that's what they feel, and they're like, well, their religious framing is holding everything back. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's the lie. Maybe the other part's the truth. Maybe the other part is a lie, and that's what it is. The reason you tell a lie with the truth is that as long as you have a nugget of truth you can hold on to, you can be passionate about it. You can, convey emotion in your speech, which is hard to do when it's a totally fictitious lie. And then once you've gotten that hook in, then you spin the rest of the details. The details tend to be the lie. The big nugget tends to be the truth. It's rarely the other way around.
So basically what you're saying there is we as mere humans have to decipher the riddles that they speak in. Or do they not know themselves?
They don't know. They don't know. No, Jeremy Corbell does not know. I beat Lou Elizondo, sorry, I didn't want to say his name wrong. Doesn't know. He knows whatever he's told. Jeremy knows whatever he's told.
He's seen? Do you believe what they're saying? That he could have seen a craft?
Who? Lou?
An actual wreckage?
I don't know. Maybe. Or maybe he was shown something. How the hell would he know? If you go out to Skunk Works and they say, hey, this is a crash, and they're using next level metamaterials, that can only be made with lasers in a fucking 0G environment or under some strange magnetic fluctuations they're able to maintain. Like, who is he? He's a counterterrorism guy. He's an investigator. He's honestly strikes me as someone who's kicked in a lot of doors and thrown a lot of hoods over people. He's that guy.
Do you think he's done his job? Is that it now? He's going to move away? Because it seems like, or do you think there will be more with him? Or that's it? He's done the job.
This will probably piss a lot of people. I don't have any beef with him, man. I think he's out there doing his thing. I think he's interested possibly in the subject, or at least he is now. He has to be now. There's no way he couldn't be now.
You couldn't not be.
You could not be. It wouldn't be normal to not be intrigued at this point. Yeah. So I mean, who knows? I can't predict his behavior. Who knows? I think for mere mortals to try and I like he said that, to try and decipher, don't, because
just enjoy the ride.
As long as you're listening, that's what they want you to do. If they didn't want you to look, they wouldn't be talking about it. What are they not talking about? Look at that. Pay attention to that. What are they not talking about? What are they not pushing? Whatever their narrative is that they're pushing, sure, there's going to be nuggets of truth. You can hunt for it. You can look. Or you can just go, oh, that's an entertaining fairy tale. I noticed you didn't talk about X, Y, or Z. And then you'll just hear crickets. That's where you should be looking. It's kind of like whoever you can't criticize, that's who's in charge. Whatever you can't say, that's probably the truth. Right? If they're going to come for you for that, there's probably something to it. Yeah, so that's where that is.
Did you so over I would say the last 6 years is when it's really ramped up. So you got into, how long ago was it that you got into UFOs? When you first went to actually look, you went to the conferences because you was having the paranormal experiences and what have you, and you thought, I'm going to see what all these UFOs are about.
Yeah, a couple years ago. And the reason I went to the UFO conference is because of a guy named David Paulides, who wrote the Missing 411 series.
Yep.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that he was a MUFON investigator for California. He was like one of their star investigators, whatever. They have different classifications. And I was still am wildly taken with the Missing 411 phenomenon. I think that is something that requires much more attention and delving, and should be looked into seriously. But he was giving a talk for MUFON, and he was talking about, particularly UFOs. And someone was asking him questions about his book during the Q&A part. And he had said, before you read any of my books, you need to go read Skinwalker Ranch, then read my book. And he gave it out, Skinwalker Ranch by George Knapp. You need to read that first, then read my books. Then you'll get more insight into what I think is going on. Because he never says, which I thoroughly appreciate that he doesn't give his opinion, and people are like, well, you should. He's dealing with real case files. There are people's families out there. These are people that they've only found pieces of.
It's the craziest thing.
Yeah, I mean, their families are still out there. So no, I don't think he should give his opinion. I think how he handles it is the right way to handle it. It's respectful. There are people grieving. There are people hurting over this. You don't want to start saying, well, it's a trans-dimensional whatever that he walked into and got ginsued, or it's a Bigfoot, or it's a... Dude, they lost their father. They lost their kid. Like, maybe keep that shit to the side and let this person deal with their grief. Because they actually lost something. But so I did that. I went and I read that book. And that turned me onto that subject. So I wanted to know everything about it. And then I got into it. And then I thought, I should go to a UFO conference. Why not? And so I did. And I got to meet all those people by paying money. It just took money. That's all it was. And I did that for a couple different things. And it was hard to get through a lot of those people who just want to sell you a lot of shit. Like, they're just selling you their story. They're selling you their shit. That's what it's all about. Very few people are interested in information, or trying to get information, or really looking at the phenomenon. It's alien bunny ears and t-shirts and hats. And I went to Zeta Reticula and had sex with a harem of green lizard women. And it's...
you've met Ronnie Dawson.
No, someone else. And it matter of how, maybe it's true. I don't know. It hadn't happened to me. So that's when I found Ray. And I liked Ray. Of all the people I talked to, I liked Ray the most. Yeah. And I thought he had a good point. And I think his whole going from an atheist to a non-atheist, from a skeptic to a non-skeptic, is such a radical transformation. Because if you talk to the guy, not just on interviews or see him, but talk to him, you realize he's really kind of a no bullshit guy. Like, he's pretty fucking man.
It's crazy how him and Edgar Mitchell just became like
BFFs. Yeah,
like
man.
Best mates.
Yeah, like they're best friends.
Edgar's passed away, but
yeah, like they were best friends. But yeah, so all that nugget to his story is what's allured me, and that's why I kept up with him. Yeah. And then when I met you, I turned him onto you. There were some other people along the way, and it just wasn't right. So I kind of moved on.
So,
and I don't really do anything anymore, so I don't have really all that much to lose personally. So,
but before that, it was all paranormal for you. It was not. You weren't really interested in the UFO field.
Still is. I mean, it still is. I'm still not really interested in the UFO field. I think.
What I'm wanting to ask Dave is, do you believe it is definitely a part of it, or have you looked at it and there's how do I put this right? Is there too much bullshit with it? And I don't mean, when I say bullshit, I mean the drama, because you've already said to me, Jesus Christ, there's so much. You are staying away from UFOs with BlackStar Paranormal.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have nothing to do, dude. You'll never see us mention anything. If we mention, and the thing is, we have videos of things, but so if we ever throw those out, it will not be under a UFO title. It will have nothing to do with it. It's but the paranormal is not really all that much different. It's not better by any means. Neither is cryptid. It's hard, I think, in anything, because there's so many people who like this for the flight and fancy and the fantasy of it, right? That it's daydream, or it's this or it's that, and they can live in La La Land, or they can be Saturn shaman from the Sagittarius, whatever the fuck. And no one wants to look at, like, I don't want to say harder data, because that isn't true either, but I don't know. Maybe a little less bullshit. It's hard to tell though. When you're out this far, it's hard to tell what's bullshit and what's not. Again, I'm on a boat. I'm looking in the ocean, and I can't tell you the species of any of the fish. I just know they're all in there. Doesn't mean they have anything to do with each other. So, I mean, think about it this for this perspective for a second. If you were an ultra-dimensional or an extraterrestrial, and you looked at the Earth as a people, would you classify us all as one? There are people right now like you and I who are talking thousands of miles apart using technology, right? We drive using technology. We have incredible technology in our pockets. At the same time, coexisting on this planet, there are people using stone fucking tools who've never seen a cell phone, who have never seen a TV or a tablet or a fucking car. They don't know what the planes in the sky are. They could be gods for all they know. We all exist together right now.
That is true. There, and if we went and visited, I think I said this on Must See Audio, we
would look like aliens. Yeah. But
I don't mean we'd just kill them. I mean we'd give them a disease.
Oh yeah, probably. But so if you're outside looking in, how do you classify that, right? We could be looking at something very similar. Maybe they all are kind of the same thing, but there's such a wide variety that it's too much. And we want it to be a one simple thing. I fucking believe which of what. That's the thing.
You must have a feeling like.
Genuinely have no idea.
Do you think it could be? Would you? I mean, I go to. Where's the room for him? So it must be dimensional. That's
could be.
And I think when you see a ghost, maybe it's not a ghost. Maybe it's just something coming in and out of our.
Hey man, here's the thing. Like our planet's old. Maybe here's the thing. Maybe it's an older civilization that gained incredible technology 500,000, 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, 10 fucking million years ago. And they're like, hey, we're going to travel interstellar or we're going to go interdimensional. And because of whatever freaky physics played out when they came back, all this time had passed. And now there's us walking around doing our thing. And they're like, holy shit. I guess we're just going to go hang out in the oceans until we figure out how to deal with this. Or maybe not deal with it at all. Or maybe there was a cataclysm and everything changed. Maybes go on and on. Like if you're a fan of Graham Hancock and you've read any of his work, from Magicians of the Gods, paint an interesting picture. His book about, other civilizations in America and prehistory, going back 50,000, 250, 500, like these things are there. There are cities in the Amazon they're finding with LiDAR, that jungle just grew up around them, but they're there. There are roads, there's temples, there's pyramids, it's just been, you can't see it. You can't see the trees. You can't see the temple for the forest. What is that? It's something, man. It's something. So I don't know.
Do you believe?
Maybe we're not the smartest species on this planet. Maybe we're not the peak of evolution. Maybe we never were. Maybe we're a fucking pet project. Maybe this is a quarantine facility and our emotions are so wild and so chaotic and our civilization is so primitive that we're not allowed off. Not until we grow up a little bit. Or maybe not off. Maybe we're not allowed through. Maybe interstellar travel is too much, but interdimensional travel isn't. Maybe it's all linked. Dude, if you look at like the similarities between, your cardiovascular system, the corpuscles and the way they branch out, to the way that mycelium grows, to tree ranches and trees, to the way the magnetic field operates, to when they take a macro look at the universe and we are able to escape what we believe to be the dark matter branches, and the similarity between it all. The more you look at things, the more you see design as an element. And if design is an element, you get more questions, not fewer.
I just, there's something.
I'm here for the mystery, bro. I'm here for the mystery.
Yeah, I am too, Dave. But it just seems to me like it feels right now like we're treading on something, and we're so close. We can feel almost feel it between his toes. Do you know? It's that I've got. That's how I feel right now. I feel like we became so close to maybe finding out something, but then egos got in the way.
Well, there's a cure for that. You can always get the old ego death if you're willing to endure.
I don't think we're going to get a disclosure of what the paranormal is,
No.
of what UFOs are.
No.
In my lifetime. I think my kids will be, I hope they stay away from it and don't follow I hope my little boy's not taking over Alien Addict.
You know something I've always wondered if the government's back and forth with conspiracy theories on extraterrestrials and space and all that isn't just a distraction from the government's actual focus on the paranormal, terrestrial paranormal or interdimensional paranormal, or they want you thinking nuts and bolts. They want you thinking other planets instead of thinking already here or somewhere in between the space between space.
Dimensions.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know, man.
We always go back to dimensions. You ever seen that film, The Mist?
Yep. I live next to a government lab. I've seen the fucking movie, The Mist.
It was a book, Stephen King's book, wasn't it? To start off with, yeah.
Had a happier ending in the book. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I've seen that because I live next to a government lab, and
when was that book written?
I don't know. They're one of the labs that talked about trying to open interdimensional realities and stuff. And I was thinking, it's like, fuck. Have none of you people seen or read The Mist? Don't do that. Stop. Yeah.
But that book was written well before the CERN's Hadron Collider was turned on.
That's just the biggest one. Particle accelerators have been around for a while.
What ones like that?
Big ones, government ones? Hell yeah. That's the biggest known one. That's a big public project that everyone got together and it's the biggest. Sure it is.
They've been messing with that. You're saying they've been messing with that for a long time.
Oh, hell yeah. That's just a particle accelerator. It's a big particle accelerator, but they have particle accelerators. They have a variety of particle accelerators. They have crazy shit that smart people, I mean, there's smart people in this world. They're truly fucking brilliant people. And when the government gets their hooks in them, they feed them up, turn them loose, and that's great because we get Velcro and microwaves and all kinds of neat stuff. But they also want to tear holes in reality. They also want to let off bombs that they think, well, there's a probability this could ignite the atmosphere. Well, let's do it anyway. I mean, think about that. When they fired off nuclear bombs, there was a fear that this could ignite the atmosphere, and they did it anyway.
Well, they would have they would have spoke to the scientists first. As what's the chances of it doing that? Or we don't think it's going to do that.
They did talk to the scientists, and the scientists said there's a possibility that this could fucking burn everything. And they're like, nah, launch it. I mean, thank goodness that, it didn't plan out that way or play out that way. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, going back to The Mist there, what do you think they're actually doing? I mean, I know they're looking for is it the dark matter, the God particle?
No, they're not looking for that. Well, it depends on the lab, I think. I think it depends on the lab. And I don't know that. I don't know. Well, I mean, I know. I kind of know. I kind of know what the ones near me are looking for.
Okay, but, tell us like Lou Alexander would tell us what they're looking for.
He just wouldn't. He would do exactly that. It's like, well, I mean, I know, but we can't talk about it because it's classified, and I don't want to out anyone.
But you don't work for CERN.
No, I do not work. I have no idea what CERN's looking for. I don't live near CERN. I live near another government research lab, and they definitely have particle accelerators. And I have a very good idea what they're looking for, but
does it involve the subject that we're talking about?
I don't know. What subject are we talking about?
I think the audience can take that as they as they want. I mean, I'll take that as a yes.
That's your interpretation. That's not what the facts say.
I will take that as Stephen King's book, The Mist,
It's terrifying.
Is terrifying. Yeah. Jesus Christ, those beasts in that film.
Yeah, that's some Lovecraftian stuff right there.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
When it comes to the, I want to touch on UFOs, but I don't speak to you, Dave, a lot about UFOs, and we speak.
We speak about normal stuff usually.
You and Lee speak on a daily basis. I'm always busy.
You ignore us. Yeah.
I don't ignore you. I don't ignore you. I work long hours in the day.
Do you see the messages? Do you see the messages?
Well,
no answer. Do you see the messages?
You right.
Do you see
your Facebook ones. I don't see the other ones.
Nah,
I don't get notifications.
You know the messages are there. You just choose not to reply. That means
I'm working my ass off.
Work's overrated, man. Enjoy your life.
I know it is. But if you ask people, I message people like this and talk and then send it in audio format because I hate texting. But what I was going to say is you speak back and forth all the time, but you speak back and forth to loads of people. We've had conversations and you've like, well, yeah, I've been speaking to one of my buddies about this experiment that's going on elsewhere. I've been speaking about the paranormal. You've got your fingers in many pies. You speak about UFOs probably the least now to me over anything. You don't really talk about UFOs. You might talk about, have you seen this drama that's happened? It's hilarious.
No, I mean, I don't get tied in that, man. Like if I genuinely work for the government, I would definitely talk more about UFOs.
Are you going off the subject of UFOs? Do you feel like the community is going off the subject of UFOs?
I think most of the community is lost. I don't even I think most of the air quotes community, they're not even talking about UFOs. They're talking about each other.
Yeah.
Or nonsense. So like nobody's talking about UFOs.
I do want to touch on this with you as somebody who speaks to me and says, Jesus, what is going on with this drama? This bullshit
that I say a lot. Yeah.
That's going. Do you think that the UFO Twitter, the things that's gone off with so Elon Musk spoke about there being a lot of bots, and I've noticed little things within the UFO community, especially on Twitter, that sometimes I don't believe's a real person that's actually doing some of this. Do you think that the UFO community has been infiltrated? And it's
absolutely,
and it's the reason why things are happening now, like everybody turning on each other, is by design.
I mean, because nobody's smart enough to see that they're getting their strings pulled. Yeah. If you're not used to manipulation, you can't see it, right? Like you can't see it. Like that, you can train AI to manipulate people. It's not hard. You can fucking read books, how to win friends and influence people. It's very basic stuff. There are more advanced techniques, but they're like those are sales techniques. They teach those big sales conferences, right? That's all it is. It's just people getting wound up and spun on each other, and then why? But the reality is, like, people like, is it a government? Like, maybe, unlikely, because people are people, and it's more likely that people are petty all by themselves. They're bitter all by themselves. They're full of shit all by themselves, and they take it upon themselves to stir things up, break things down, cause problems, because that's human nature. If you're trying to manipulate or spin someone, you don't have to feed them too much information. You have to pique their interest and curiosity and let their imagination run. That's all you got to do. To get a community like this on each other, that's all trying to get views. That's all technically like, we're a community. No, you're all competitors. And until you admit that, and you see that for what it is, that you're all trying to get views, you're all trying to get subscribers, you're trying to make your show. That's why you pick times or this or that. That's why people avoid other shows instead of putting them up directly when that other one's going on.
You spoke on Lee's show about UCR, the Unidentified Celebrity Review, about
I
the
thought that
guy
was an
being,
interesting show. Oh.
yeah, said he's a nice guy.
Yeah, he seems to be.
What do you think went wrong there? Why do you think he's back? Because
No idea.
he spoke in riddles of about stepping away from it. Do you think that had a lot to do with Lou?
I have no idea. I don't know anything about him. I watched their Brandon Fugel shows. That was it.
Right. Okay.
I saw him like talking about like leaving, and I was like, okay, I'm not into this, and I just moved on. It wasn't information that I wanted to ingest, so I just rolled on. I mean, they
the
seem
reason
nice
why I
enough.
asked that, when he left, he did say to the entire community, he said there, it was almost like he had an inkling. Somebody had told him something. He said there are no crash retrievals, there are no alien bodies. Um,
I kind of believe that myself.
and he said, and this is not me saying that Lou from Luciar is the Oracle and he knows what's going on. I believe that he may have twigged on to what this subject may possibly be about, to which I have no idea myself.
Yeah,
I'm just like, I'm just, we're all the same.
Mm-hmm.
But he said it's something else, and that really stuck with me. That last show that he did when he said it's something else.
Let's say that's something you hear repeated a lot too. Like the people say, it's stranger than you would think. It's you hear things that echoes like that. Like it's not what you think. It's stranger. That is curious. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
You need to watch that clip, Dave, because it stuck with me, and it was for him, just because he left after that. After saying that, he left his channel. A channel that was doing amazing, a channel that was making, I think, over, I don't know, it was making like probably about $1,000 a month or whatever. He was making quite a bit of money in Patreons, in, to just pull your channel. And I mean, I don't know what he's going on with his Patreons and what have you, but that was a good business model.
Maybe he's not in it for business.
Probably not.
I could definitely respect that.
Yeah, but it just seemed like he moved out of that so quickly. Something scared them. It was like something scared the guy to death.
Well, don't know, man. I don't know. I like I said, I don't know him. I don't know any of those. I thought it was interesting they had Brandon Fugel on. I've watched both of those. I was like, wow, this guy has
he's had
interesting connections. Their production value is phenomenal. I think everyone asked, interesting questions. They had good chemistry. Everyone, no one stepped on each other. It was good.
Good show.
Yeah, good show. Yeah,
really good show. A lot of respect for that show.
Yeah. I have no issue with them or anyone else in the quote unquote community. I honestly just don't care enough to have an issue with someone. But I'm just living my life, man.
So when it comes to, I know you said, is it going to be probably next year that we're going to see something from BlackStar Paranormal?
If at all. That's kind of the thing.
Dave, you're not selling it very well. It's linked. We've got the channel linked in the description. Are you saying that you may not do anything with this channel?
I may not. Yeah, I don't know.
What does that mean?
I'm going to keep using it as a tax write-off. That's for sure. But yeah, I don't know.
So, are you saying
this isn't?
You're not going to put anything on there until it's ready?
Yeah, or it's something I think should be released. And that's critical because this is a personal pursuit.
Yes, what the audience don't realize about you, and I've known you for quite some time now, is
at least 6-7 months.
Yeah, whatever. You don't do you're not into this subject for anything.
No, I don't need anything from this. Yeah.
You just love it.
Yeah, I don't
You
think I
can't-
love it, but I'm fascinated. Right, I'm curious, and to a certain extent, I'm entangled in a lot of ways, and I have to know. You know what I mean? I have to know. It's just biological programming. I'm that person. Um, so yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, eventually, yeah, I would like to think we would. I think it'd be fun to share some of the experiences that we're going to get with other people, and maybe eventually tell them how they too could have such an experience, or if those people would be cool with it, or I don't know. Like so some of them aren't like so we. I have again my superpowers making friends, right? I have a friend. He owns a mountain.
It's not called Wayne, is he?
No, no, it's not. We called Wayne. No, he owns a mountain and it's clear cut up on top. It's very high point and it's very clear skies and it's nice and dark. And we go up there and look for things. I was joking with the friends like, we should film this one night. We got the camera. We have all the equipment. And
But you can't title it UFOs because you don't want any of that.
And I wouldn't. And I absolutely wouldn't. But here's the thing. The guys I do it with, like, we talked about it and I got shot down. They're like, no, man. No, because then you're going to have people that are going to start coming here looking for these things. They're going to try and find this place because people can do that. There's plenty of smart people out there. And then it's ruined for us. So, yeah. No, we're selfish that way. We're not abashed by that at all.
So this is, there's not a love of the subject, but it's
a need, obsession,
an obsession, a personal obsession.
Yeah.
And you may or may not do something with that channel that's in the description.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is I know other people.
Subscribe anyway, people. Dave may put one day. Dave may put the oracle of all paranormal videos up on that channel.
The problem I run into more often than not is some of the people that go to these things, and when we film certain things, some of these people can't be on camera, and then we got to go through and edit 10 hours of one person. Fuck that, man. No, I'm not doing that. None of the other guys are doing that. So
you just said 10 hours of one person. You spent hours. You sent me a video, and I hope you don't mind me saying, but you sent me pictures of you spending hours inside a coffin.
Yeah.
Was it a coffin?
It was something like that. It wasn't a coffin, but it was.
We don't have to say the location.
Yeah, it's where a lot of bodies were interned at one time because of a tragedy. Yeah. Yeah, I spent a lot of time.
How long were you inside that box?
In that box, about 3 hours.
Oh my God! Why?
You got to know, man. We were running some experiments, some tests. We were testing things.
So for the audience, I'm not going to show the images. I got a load of messages from Dave saying, "Guess where I am." And he was messaging me from. Was it inside a coffin or inside a?
Nah, it's literally where they used to stack bodies. They're like cordwood.
On your own?
Oh no, people were there. Yeah.
Well, out just above you or
outside? I mean, they were the other end of the experiment.
Were they chatting with you back and forth, or did they leave you
Not
alone?
really. That's part of the experiment, and I don't want to talk about it.
Can you tell us a little bit of the experiment? Did anything?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Did you see anything or hear anything?
I didn't. They did.
You saw nothing?
Nothing. Yeah. 1 second. I'm gonna have to jump, buddy.
No worries. No worries, mate. Dave, I appreciate you stopping by. You go sort your little ones out, and God bless you, man.
See you, everybody.
Bye-bye, man.
Bye.
So people go subscribe to BlackStar Paranormal. So tonight, bit of a weird one. We were supposed to have Ghost Tech Paranormal come on the show, but Jeff had a family emergency. This show will be back up at some point in the near future. So that's going to happen. And Dave was coming on with me because I wanted Dave to kind of, for someone who actually speaks in the paranormal world, I have no idea about, could actually probably understand some of the ghost tech that they use, because Dave's looking into new tech when it comes to the paranormal. So, yeah, when I get Ghost Tech on, I'm going to get Dave with me to be my right hand man. But I just want to thank everybody for tonight. I'm not so sure what's going to happen tomorrow, whether I've got a show or not. I'll be honest with you, there's no show planned. I've had a hell of a week. This was going to be the show for tonight, and I didn't want to give you nothing. I know Dave's an interesting chap. Head on over. You may see a video one day pop up on his channel that is going to be phenomenal. I can't say that word. Or you may not. But I like that about him. There's no bullshit. He's saying, I may give you a video, I may not. Speaking of no bullshit, there you go. Oh, bollocks. Go check out the new Christmas merch, people. It is just for Christmas. And it's the inspiration came from the show that I did with Third Phase of Moon, where we asked them about their behaviors on YouTube, let's just say. And I told Blake to not come round here with his big bollocks. So yeah, check it out. It's just for Christmas, and also it supports the channel. Or you could become a member, people. There is a members page now. Become a member of the channel. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Don't know why that tickled me. But if you want tickling, I'll tickle you. There you go. Oh. Guys, everybody in the chat, I appreciate you all so much. You're amazing. Also, I did notice we have CoAG Music stopped by. I think. Did he? CoAG Music. People, fellow, this goes for you, Tyler, in the chat, Secure Team 10. Check out my boy CoAG Music's channel. I sometimes use his stuff. It's all copyright free, and it is by far the best music on YouTube for the paranormal UFO. It is phenomenal. The guy is a genius, and it's all copyright free. Pretty, I think if it isn't, he names it not copyright free, but you can still use it. You just make it a copyright claim. That's all. But pretty much, I'd say 99% of it is copyright free, and it's amazing. I use his stuff quite often, and I can't rate him enough. His work is phenomenal. And yeah, Tyler, Secure Team, my good man, you need to come by. We need to do a show together. And I haven't been drinking, Tyler. I've had one glass of wine and a glass of water. I'm good. And it's really low, just non-alcoholic, that stuff. We need to do a show on the moon. Not about did we go, but it may come into it, but I'd love to do a show. We spoke briefly in the interview that I did a few years ago now, a couple of years ago maybe, I don't know. It was a bit back. We spoke about the moon and we didn't speak about it long enough. So yeah, love to do that with you. Message me. Thank you, people. I'm Alien Addict. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I'm sorry it's been a bit of a short show tonight. L Dave is back. L Dave is back, but I'm going in a mo. If I can add Dave back. Dave? Kids, eh?
Kids, man.
Kids. I've just been selling your
My non-channel channel.
Your non-channel channel, which I think is gonna give us disclosure at some point. I think you've got something planned there. I'm just helping you out there, mate.
Appreciate it.
I think you've got something planned. But I was saying good night, God bless, mind the bugs don't bite.
I just came back to chat with you afterwards.
Okay, we can do that. It's been a short but sweet. But there are some things that me and L Dave need to speak about, people. I hope you stay tuned and hit that bell. Good night. Bye-bye.